Let's get it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the SchuZ Show. I am your host, SchuZ Shoemaker. A quick update. Today's show, I know I promoted it saying that Troy Isley will be coming on the show. That could still happen. It's a little bit in limbo right now. A couple of things are going on. But he will be on the show eventually at some point in time, whether it be tomorrow's episode or sometime next week. So that will happen. I'll let you guys know when or if it does happen. If it happens to the show, then that's be great. Just stay tuned for that. But I'll keep you guys posted in regards to that. But I wanted to get into the show right now because, listen, there's some topics that we got to get into today in the boxing world because it was quite a bit of slow news, I'd say, to start the day. And then the past couple hours, all of a sudden, boom, 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 we got fights being confirmed. We got more updates coming out. And I want to break it all down for you guys today. So I hope you guys are having an incredible Thursday today. And I want to get into some topics. Now, I said there was something that started off the day today. And it's out there across the pond, out there in the UK. And there's a massive fight going down on Sunday, Easter Sunday. And it's going to be a rematch. We all know what it is. Ben Whitaker, Liam Cameron. Now, this has been quite the situation. Going all the way back to when it all occurred and the fight and whatever the heck happened in that ring to today. And I'll break that down in a moment, but just to give you guys a confirmation of what I'm going to be discussing right now is that Liam Cameron's team has officially reached an agreement with Boxer to finalize his fight against Ben Whitaker as a 10-round contest. All right. I don't understand and know the business components to every single fight contract that's ever been signed in the history of boxing. But I do know that things get a hold of social media quite quickly and things start to trickle out and we get notifications about it. And I have not seen an instance as similar to what we've seen now in a very, very long time, if not ever before. And there's been a lot of controversy around Boxer. I know some people are not very big fans of them. For me, I'm someone that doesn't really care about promotional companies. They're all cool as long as they give me a good fight. That's all I care about. But let's just look at what's been going down with Ben Whitaker's career in Boxer. So he's building up and rising as this young, up-and-coming superstar across the pond and becoming a potential international brand. And he gets lined up to go fight a guy in Liam Cameron on a Riyadh season card. Fight's going fine. He starts off fine. And then the tides start to turn a little bit. Liam Cameron starts to put on a show, going on a great display, and almost gets to a point where, hey, the rounds end up being even on the scorecard, hence why it was a draw. And listen, Andy Clark was on last week, and we went into detail about this fight, all that prevailed, all that happened in that ring. The answer and the truth is we do not know if there was a serious injury or not. I'm not going to judge Ben Whitaker or anybody else what happened in that ring. Maybe we'll know one day, maybe not. Here's what I do know, though. For Ben Whitaker, he tumbles out of the ring, he hurts his back, so on and so forth. And then we get some more details, all the way from the hole in the wall, all the way to the phone incidents at the airport, and all these different things start to happen. And then things go quiet for some time, and all of a sudden we start to hear the trickling news coming out that this will be a rematch that's going to get scheduled. All right, great. We all have already had the discussion. We know that Ben Whitaker has to do this rematch with Liam Cameron. This was always going to be a cloud over his head if he did not go and fight Liam Cameron in a rematch and defeat Liam Cameron. For Liam Cameron, he established a name for himself, and he does not necessarily need this win for his career to move forward. For Ben Whitaker, he needs this fight. This rematch was mandatory for Ben Whitaker to continue his career and on the upward trajectory. Now he has to win that fight, but he has scheduled this rematch. So push comes to shove, and now we get in a situation where they're negotiating this contract, and we end up coming to the conclusion that, okay, Easter Sunday, we are going to have a rematch go down between Liam Cameron and Ben Whitaker. Great. Well, then we start to hear more news come out that for some reason, Boxer screwed up the contract. And Ben Whitaker and his team were only expecting to have a 10-round fight when what was on the contract brought to Liam Cameron's team by Boxer that contract said 12 rounds. All right, it is what it is. Signed deal, let's move on. Well, for one reason or another, Boxer and Ben Whitaker's team, whoever it is getting involved here, wants to do everything they possibly can to make this be a 10-round fight. Now, let's rewind what I just said a few moments ago. Ben Whitaker needs this fight regardless of what happens. There should be no complaints or issues. They screwed the contract. Get in there. What is 2 extra rounds? I know it's tough. I know it's a championship round, so on and so forth. But why not go for 12 rounds? And this has been now a 2-3, maybe even 4-week debacle now of saying, hey, let's go and make this fight happen at 10 rounds. Well, Liam Cameron held his ground and said, listen, I'm not changing the terms of this contract unless one or two things are going to happen. Either we're walking in that ring for a 12-round fight, Or second option is you're going to pay me a whole lot of money to bring this down to 10 rounds. Smart move by Liam Cameron. Well, today we finally get the conclusion that, guess what? Liam Cameron's coming away with a lot of money in regards to being able to move this fight down from 12 to 10 rounds. Liam Cameron wins again here. And all I'm going to say is, listen, I get it. Ben Whitaker wants 10 rounds. He was preparing for 10 rounds. Whatever that story is, sure. But let's look at the facts here. He needed this win in this fight, regardless of what was going to happen. However many rounds it was, Ben Whitaker needed to win this fight for his career to continue the upward trajectory of being one of the top prospects in boxing. The fact that they made this go around and around, circle in circles, making a massive deal about the 10 to 12 rounds after everything that's already went down in regards to this fight is embarrassing. There's no other way to put it. He's now put in a situation where Ben Whitaker must go into Sunday on Easter Sunday and have a dominating win on Liam Cameron. Because this entire past, what has it been now, 6-7 months of everything that's come apart to this next time, where he had this massive fan base growing, and so many people have now turned their back on him for one reason or another. And if it wasn't one reason, well, another storyline comes out about the situation. This has been as bad of a situation, both managed by Ben Whitaker or his team or whoever it is, over the past 6-7 months. It has been quite embarrassing. In fact, I might even go as far as to say this is the exact definition of what not to do when managing a top young prospect. But here we are, heading into Easter Sunday in just a couple of days, and we will have the fight between Liam Cameron and Ben Whitaker. And all I'm going to say is I'll break down the fight tomorrow's episode on Friday, but what I'm going to say right now is that this is as big of a must-win, and not just a must-win, has to be a dominating win by Ben Whitaker for this entire thing to kind of go and be pushed aside. He can definitely move past this situation, but he is going to have a dominant display on Sunday, otherwise there's going to be issues. Next up, we're going to have a discussion is that Ryan Garcia seems to be very inclined to make 147 his new weight class. And this seems to be one guy that he's keeping his eye on. Now, who could it possibly be? Maybe it's the guy that just had an incredible display on Saturday night. The guy that now holds 3 belts, Jerome Boots Ennis. And that seems to be the guy that Ryan Garcia wants. All these other fighters keep running away from him. We can use the ducking word. I'm fine with that, but I get it. Some people think there's other reasons involved there. Ryan Garcia is saying, no. I'm going to be fighting at Times Square on Friday, the May the 3rd, if I'm not mistaken, yes. And after that, I might be wanting Jerome Boots Ennis. You know, there's a lot of stuff that Turkey's in the works of right now. I believe we're going to get the rematch between Haney and Garcia. But is that a fight that I'd love to see one day? Absolutely. The biggest question I'll say right now, though, is if you're looking at Jerome Boots Ennis and his career and his trajectory and what he's going to be doing, I already said before last week in this fight, that weight drain looked bad. How many more times is he going to be able to fight at 147 before he moves up to 154? Now, if he feels confident that he can do this, then sure, he can fight another time or two, go for undisputed, whatever it is. We'll see what happens. Would I want to see that fight, though? Absolutely. The only question there is that, yes, would it make a lot of money? Would it sell really well as a pay-per-view? Yes, it would. And it makes sense. Both guys are with the zone, so you can definitely make that happen. The one thing I will turn on and say, hey, for Boots Ennis, it appears to me that he's not for the big money fights because he already turned down the 154 fight with Virgil Ortiz. He turned down some of the big fights in terms of money and financial gains. He said countless times that he wants undisputed. At first, he wanted unification, now undisputed. So if he's going to go for that, then Ryan Garcia should go and get that belt and make an undisputed fight between the two, and that would make that fight even bigger. But would I want to see that fight? Absolutely. I would not be anything against that. It's just a matter of, hey, is this the fight that makes the most sense for Boots Ennis in his career going forward? And we'll see what that answer ends up being. But it probably will not happen until next year, if we're going to be honest. Like I said, Garcia is fighting his very first fight in over a year since he got suspended on Friday, May 3rd. And then he's likely going to have the rematch with Devin Haney. So we'll see what ends up unfolding there. But that would be a fight that I see happening in the future. Let's go another step forward now, though. When we look at Jake Paul, I talked about him a couple minutes ago and a little bit ago about just got an update actually from Troy Isley. So I just want to make that clear to everybody real quickly. We're going to reschedule that interview just so everybody knows before I get into the Jake Paul segment. We'll reschedule that interview for a little bit, probably either tomorrow, next week, something like that. So Troy Isley will be hopping on the show in the very near future. But he just got back to me now. There was some stuff that happened, complications. So we'll get that rescheduled. You guys are not going to want to miss the interview. I'll let you guys know when that goes down. That being said, let's hop right back into this discussion. Right before I got on this live, Jake Paul has announced his next fight. And all I'm going to say is before I say the name, I'm sure some people have already heard it. Can there ever just be a normal fight that we're going to get with Jake Paul? I mean, all the way from the beginning, I mean, we got Nate Robinson, a guy that's a fraction of his size, fighting him, and that didn't go very well. We've had MMA fighters. We've had, what's his name? Mike Perry coming over from bare knuckle boxing, and we've had a 60-year-old Mike Tyson. Well, here we go. Jake Paul is now set to fight Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Thank goodness Jr. on that one. You never know with him. In a cruiserweight bout this summer, sources tell The Ring. So yes, Jake Paul will be returning to the ring. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. will be the man he's going to be fighting. Now remember, he's only fought, this will be a second fight now in 5 years now. He fought last year in the Jake Paul undercard. Didn't look very good. So what will likely happen in this fight? Well, I think it's quite clear Jake Paul will be easily winning this fight. Not really competitive there once again, but I'm just going to say this question. I have 2 points. I'm going to not backtrack on what I just said yesterday's show, that Jake Paul is good for boxing. He is. So what I'm going to be looking for now in regards to Jake Paul is, okay, who's going to be on the undercard? Listen, Jake Paul debatably has the biggest branding in all of boxing. All of boxing. Obviously, Conor McGregor is the biggest in all of combat sports. But in terms of all of boxing, when you look at that, he's going to bring eyes to watch that fight. What is that undercard going to look like, and how many more opportunities do we see to have other fighters that are not typically going to get a lot of eyes on them possibly elevate their brand to possibly get to new heights and new levels? That's what I'm going to be inclined to see what occurs on that undercard. I'm sure the pieces are still coming together. But yes, this summer, Jake Paul, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. will be fighting each other. Take it as you want it. 2 more things I want to get into during today's show. One of which is, right before I came on the show, another fight announcement came out. And this one's a lot better than the past one. Oscar De La Hoya says that Shakur Stevenson versus William Zepeda will happen next. A lot of back and forth going on. We know that Turki Al-Sheikh was supposedly being big on this fight, going to make it happen. And then he all of a sudden decided to say, hey, I don't really want this fight to happen that much. I'm not going to pay the same amount, or something along those lines. And then we saw Shakur Stevenson come out and say, okay, we worked everything out. All is good now. We're back on track. And now Oscar De La Hoya comes down and says, listen, this fight will be going down. We're going to have it happen next. So I've already given my thoughts on this fight in the previous episode. I think it was last week I last talked about this. Did this fight have to happen? Yes. Does it make the most sense? Yes. Is it the most preferred fight to watch? Absolutely not. William Zepeda is not a very hard-hitting puncher. He has power, but not a lot of power. He is going to be a guy that has high production. We know he's going to be throwing a lot of punches, throws more punches than anybody in boxing right now. Well, he's going to be fighting a guy that does not know how to get hit. Really, the only way somebody could possibly stop Shakur Stevenson is by lightning explosive power, such as that Tank Davis possesses. But that is not William Zepeda. So will this fight be a good one? I don't think so. Shakur Stevenson should easily demolish William Zepeda in this fight. It will not even be a competitive fight. But did it have to happen? Yes. I think Shakur Stevenson will easily take care of business in this fight. I don't think it's going to be very competitive. Like I said, it had to happen. But is it the most appealing fight in the world? Absolutely not. So Shakur Stevenson should have a nice win added to his resume whenever this fight ends up getting done. I think it will probably be in the summer or early fall. But the fight will be going down next, so glad they got that deal done. And here's the grand finale of the show, folks. Tyson Fury. Andy Clark was talking about him last week on Tuesday's show, I believe it was. And when we were going into detail about Tyson Fury possibly returning to the ring, we went back and forth on a little bit, and ultimately we came to the conclusion we both agree on what's going to happen, and that is that Tyson Fury will come out of retirement to face Anthony Joshua at some point in time. Well, the past few days have got quite interesting, has it not? All of a sudden, Tyson Fury is starting to post more and more workout videos. Okay, why do I say the posting component? Tyson Fury, for those that are not familiar, has had a remarkable story. He was in a very, very bad position before the Deontay Wilder fight happened. We know the story about everything he's had a battle, from being sober now and all these different things, and how boxing has helped save his life. Working out has been something he's always said he will continue to do the rest of his life. It helps keep his mind right, keeps all these things in line for himself. So when you're Tyson Fury now, he was always going to continue working out even if he retired. That's not what really catches my eye here. What catches my eye is that all of a sudden it's becoming daily posts. He's promoting the workout. You don't start doing that for no reason unless you want to be a content creator for fitness. And something tells me Tyson Fury is not going to be that kind of guy. So what could these posts that Tyson Fury is now making possibly be about? Well, I have a sneaky suspicion. I believe that Tyson Fury will be announcing his return to the ring very, very shortly. And who will he be fighting? A guy by the name of Anthony Joshua. Wembley Stadium by the end of this year. Listen, it makes the most sense. We all know this is one of, if not the biggest fight you can make in the world. The heavyweight division is always going to be the premier division in boxing. And then you add in two of the biggest brands in all of boxing, have them fight each other at their home country at Wembley Stadium, one of the most famous, significant stadiums in all the world. Yeah, that fight will be phenomenal. It's going to be sensational. And at that point in time, obviously, we're going to be in a position where, hey, the winner of that fight will obviously continue their career. Probably, maybe. I don't think Tyson Fury will actually. I think Tyson Fury will likely just end it all once he finishes up with Anthony Joshua. Whether it be 1 or 2 fights with AJ, then he'll move on. If AJ does win the fight, though, I believe that AJ will then have a great position to continue moving his career up and seeing if he will get a world championship once again. Because remember, if this doesn't happen until the end of this year, we're getting closer and closer to Usyk retiring. Those belts could open up. It would make it a little bit easier for AJ because AJ is not beating Alexander Usyk. But could he go beat a guy of, we just saw, Philip Hrgovic, Derek Chisora? Those are the guys that are becoming the mandatory fighters to fight for world championships once Usyk vacates or possibly even fight Usyk. So a lot of moving pieces here in the heavyweight division. But what I want to say right there is that, listen, AJ and Fury, I believe, will be happening by the end of this year. There's too many posts going on about Tyson Fury right now to make it pretty clear that his intention is to return to boxing. Only time will tell, though. But, folks, that's what I got in store for you today. I know it's a short show. I was mostly playing just a few segments today to wrap up the show after the interview with Troy Isley. As I said in the middle of this episode, though, that Troy Isley, he is going to be coming on at a later date. We're going to reschedule that interview, so stay tuned on when that's going to happen. But I do appreciate everybody for tuning in today. I will be back at it again tomorrow to wrap up this great week of interviews and shows. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. I hope you guys all have a blessed Thursday and have a great Good Friday tomorrow until I see you guys. And SchuZ out. Have a great night. God bless you guys.